violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe. And let's get into the video. So this one is crazy. I told you I was going to Miami. So I wanted to update you guys on what was going on in the area before I traveled there. And I had a great trip. You know, it was a really fun time. I think this is my third time being in Miami, so it was pretty dope. But not too far away in Sarasota, a woman arrested in New Year's Eve shooting on Main Street. So a lot of things were going down. I definitely heard gunshots in Miami, but there were people getting clapped on New Year's Day. Some people who didn't make it 2022. So a Sarasota woman is being held on a $1.1 million bond, charged with shooting a man to death during a fight inside a restaurant on Main Street on New Year's Eve. And this is a rough looking woman. Obviously, she probably resides with the LGBT, but she's got tattoos all over her face. Okay. Latoya Johnson, 37 of Sarasota, has been arrested and is facing charges of murder, tampering with evidence, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Sarasota police officers at the New Year's Eve event on Main Street were called to a shooting at a pizza restaurant in the 1400 block of Main Street at about 1:45 a.m. They found a man shot in the chest. The victim was taken to Sarasota Memorial Hospital, where he later died. So we have women out here, sisters, clapping, shooting men. Witnesses say the victim and his family were sitting at the table outside the restaurant when one family member, who may have been intoxicated, was being physically sick. As the person passed by Johnson's table, they apparently vomited on one of the people sitting with Johnson, police said. A fight ensued. Johnson is seen on surveillance video holding a black firearm in her hand as she kicked people on the ground, a probable cause affidavit said. The victim is seen running toward the fight and attempting to defend his family by hitting Johnson in the head. So, you know, basically the guy gets a little too drunk. He barfs on the woman, Johnson, and her friends or whatnot. And I can understand the reaction to fight. I definitely can understand that because that's disgusting. But it's definitely not worth shooting somebody in facing murder charges. The entire incident took 37 seconds, police said. Johnson, along with several other people, were stopped by Sarasota police officers a couple of blocks away after witnesses provided their description. As officers approached the group, they saw Johnson conceal a firearm in a planter in the area. The affidavit says the firearm was recovered by officers. Okay. So, whew, that's tough. You can't even go to the pizza shop no more without what they you know, if you guys watch Boondocks, they call it a nickel moment. You know what I mean? Where one small thing can just set off a whole brawl. And this one, unfortunately, ended in a brother losing his life.
A barrage of bullets in Homestead, sending 3 people to the hospital. 2 men and a woman were shot yesterday, and police are now trying to figure out who did it. They say the woman was found in a car, one of the men in a home, and then the second went to the hospital for help.
Wow. So 2 men and a woman were shot. That's crazy. Went all through, shot up the car, then went to the house. It had to be personal. Yet they don't know who did it. And oftentimes, you know, I hate being pessimistic, but I don't see a lot of these crimes getting solved, unless there were a camera around or something like that, or this dude, starts bragging about it on social media. A lot of these things don't ever get solved.
Police say they were all riding together at some point before coming to a stop right here on Northwest 4th Street and 8th Avenue. They're now investigating.
All right, guys. So we're going to get into this story here, man. I know you guys have all been waiting for it, but I wanted to cover some other stories in Florida. But apparently a rapper named Jay Stash has, taken himself out after fatally shooting the mother of his children. So let's get into it. Florida rapper Jay Stash, best known for his affiliation to Rich the Kid as a former signee to his Rich Forever label, has reportedly passed away from taking his own life at 28 years old. According to a report from KTLA 5, the rapper, whose real name is Justin Joseph, fatally shot a 27-year-old woman, Jeanette Gallegos, in front of her 3 children before proceeding to take his own life. Woo! That reminds me of the Jay Black situation, except these circumstances are a lot different. The murder happened at a home in Temple City, Los Angeles on New Year's Day. Told you, a lot of folks did not make it to see 2022, even though they made it through the tail end of 2021. Police responded to a domestic violence call at the 9200 block of Pentland Street on Saturday, January 1st at around 7:15 a.m. The 27-year-old woman was found dead at the scene, as well as Jay Stash. Gallegos was reportedly shot multiple times, and Joseph appeared to have a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and a gun was found on the scene. So this guy killed himself in front of his children. Right now, the evidence at the scene and the preliminary information we have from the children in the home is that it's a murder-suicide, said Lieutenant Derek Alfred. The kids all lived inside the home, aged between 5 and 11. So, not only did this guy leave his children an orphan, but now they have to live with seeing their parents dead. And a lot of these dudes with face tattoos, they're just off. They're off, and they go out and they're on demon time. And apparently this guy has a history of putting his hands on his woman. There was an incident, I believe, in 2014 where he put his hands on Gallegos, and she had filmed it. So I'll show you the damage that he caused her earlier. But the fact that she stayed with him is pretty disturbing. We will continue to keep you updated as more information comes out regarding this horrendous story. So that's him. As you can see, he's with Rich the Kid. And he's yadded all the way up. Definitely full indicators of demon time. The face tattoos. The sleeve on his arm. And it's just sad that he did that in front of the children. And that's probably not the only time he had traumatized those children. This is an incident where the woman, she reported that he beat her up and he punched her in the face repeatedly. She has a busted lip, obviously. And in these types of relationships, a lot of the fighting and the brutality, the physicality is it's there's blame to go on both sides. Some women, I'm not saying this is what happened in this case, but the fact that she stayed with him since 2014 when he beat her up this badly, it kind of gives me an indication that a lot of women feel like it's okay to put their hands on men, and if he retaliates, then she becomes the victim. Now, in this case, he ended up taking her life, and I'm not saying that even was caused by a domestic fight per se, as in like them throwing fisticuffs or her putting her hands on him. But I'm just saying that there are certain women, especially in the melanated community, they believe that it is okay to put their hands on men, and when these men react, then there is an uproar, you know, as there should be if he was not, you know, fearing for his life when she was hitting him. But definitely hit her in the face, like, repeatedly, crazily. I'd say it's OD. But I don't know what type of damage she inflicted on him. Obviously, men aren't going to come out, oh, my woman beat me and she put these bruises on me and stuff like that. Because I've been hit by women before. And I didn't hit them back. But, you know, they got some licks on me. And it left scars. It left marks. And apparently this brother, he had no problem retaliating and hitting his woman or even killing her. And it's just crazy that she would stay with him even after he put hands and feet on her, it appears, in these pictures. So I can't blame her for being a part of the murder-suicide situation, but it's just like I don't see why they can't understand that this is not a good situation to stay in. And I know you got kids and whatnot, but any scenario where you can separate from the guy and most, I mean, if she would have ran, he might have followed her and did the same thing. Who knows? But the fact that they're living in the same house, and it just makes me like, why as a woman would you stay in that situation? I don't care if he's the father of your children. You know, if he put hands and feet on you, you gotta understand that he doesn't really care about you that much, so he's probably willing to do more. It's just a sad situation. So guys, I have one more video for you. I wanted to show you this video just to kind of give you a grasp on how these domestic incidents can occur and how they sometimes evolve or devolve rather into something that is, you know, utterly and quite frankly toxic. And I hate using that toxic word, but you know, I feel like it's apropos to describe the situation.
Nah, because the world needs to know.
Man, get the fuck back.
The world needs to know.
You're doing too much, man.
The world needs to know that you ain't shit. Yo, daddy, look, little boy.
Dude.
Pay attention because I'm finna record so the whole world can know. And all your TikTok fans,
Why the
whatever,
fuck is you trying to do this shit in
bullshit,
front of my
social.
son?
So, as you can see, she's berating him, coming hard at him, and pretty much embarrassing him on social media. Like I always say, women love embarrassing men on social media. But if you're dealing with a violent man and you're a woman and you know that you can raise your voice and get loud and curse people out and do all this kind of stuff, which a lot of women nowadays do, you got to understand that there is a high risk for violence.
Social media you be
Man,
on.
get the fuck back, man. Come on.
Nah, look,
Keep going.
little boy. Look, I'm gonna tell you
I'm
right
just
now.
gonna pick 'em
Yo,
up, that's it.
No,
You
you
ain't
ain't
fucking
shit.
nuts.
You ain't shit.
You
You
ain't
learn how to
shit.
take your.
You ain't shit.
To learn how to take care of your kids and
I
learn
take
how
care
to.
of my motherfucking son.
No, with your little broke.
I mean, the cursing. And I've seen parents argue like this in front of their kids before. Not my parents, but I've seen like friends of mine who didn't have the best situation. And I think there is a sentiment that enables women to berate the man. And a lot of guys, they end up cracking under pressure. Now, I'm not saying this is what happened in the Jay Stash situation. I think that he's 100% wrong in all, like, there's nothing that can justify what he did in leaving his children orphans. But you guys have to understand that this isn't a one-sided situation. I can almost guarantee that they would fight. Like Jay Stash and his baby mama would fight, maybe like this, and maybe putting their hands on each other as well. Because when you have kids young, a lot of these people, they seem to never grow up.
Ass, stingy little ass, just because you got custody of your damn
Man, watch
kids.
out.
Don't touch my door,
Watch out, dog.
bitch.
You gone.
Yeah, your daddy ain't shit.
Whatever, man.
I'm gonna let the whole TikTok mother freaking know.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can
So it is what it is.